Hi, this is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor. Holla. All right. Good morning. Good morning. You are watching another morning edition of The Faith Factor. And I just want to say I am pleased to be in the presence of all my beautiful people. All right. Title of the video this morning, we're going to be breaking down some things and discussing a lot of stuff over the years that Black women have been blamed for on social media, and it just has not been true. So I'm compiled the list, and I'm breaking some things down today because it's long overdue. You know, I was rewatching yesterday morning's broadcast, and towards the end of that broadcast, I really kind of got a little bit into my feelings a little bit. I got a little into my feelings. And I think it was warranted. You know, I was harsh, very harsh on Black men. But Black men have been harsh on Black women. And, you know, there's going to be a time where we're going to have a day of reckoning as a people, as a group, where we're going to acknowledge that we have been extremely hard, especially on Black women. Black men and Black women together have collectively been hard on Black women. And I know some of you are sitting back thinking to yourselves, how can Black women be harsh on other Black women? Well, you know what? I'm going to discuss that today. I'm going to delve deep into the psychology of how even sexism and misandry even exists within Black women. We are sexist and misandrous towards one another. We're cruel to each other. And so it stands to reason that those who are hurt others. Hurt people hurt other people. And Black women, we are the most criticized group on the face of the earth. There is no other group. I'm talking about man, woman, Black, white, race. There's no other group that is criticized more than the Black woman. So, of course, out of hurt, out of anger, out of fear, we hurt each other. And so these are the things that I want to talk about this morning. I want to talk about how we as a group have harshly criticized and alienated Black women alone. We have done this. And there's lots and lots of examples of how we have torn this segment of people down. I am part of a group where we can't even beautify ourselves the way we want to without being criticized. If we, put on a little bit of makeup, if we wear a different type of hair or hair texture, we are grossly criticized more than any other group. If I want to be sexy, if I want a little cleavage today, or if I don't want a little cleavage, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. because you're not sexy enough or pretty enough on the one hand, or you're too voracious, you're too sexy, you're too out there on the other hand. So we're gonna just kind of delve into the psychology as to why everyone wants to control just this one segment of people. You know, Black women, we are very, very influential as a group. It has always been this way since the dawn of time. We are very influential in how our people vote. Black women have been voting Democratic for decades. I'm talking about going on at least 100 years of democracy. And we have pretty much spearheaded many of these movements. We have. We instill everything into our group that is deemed acceptable. If Black women don't think it's hot, it's not going to fly. We are the trendsetters. And so how is it, though, that we being pretty much the leaders, the trendsetters, how is it that we are so criticized? Well, those that are not in power, those that want attention, our attention namely, they're going to criticize. And if you are considered to be the leader whom everyone looks up to, then the leader is always going to be criticized. Always. And that's what they look to us as. They look to us as leaders. Even Black men who cry about leadership day after day look to Black women for leadership, whether they want to admit it or not. And that's the reason why we bear the burden of most of the criticism. Oh, thank you, Stefan Moultrie. Stefan Moultrie says, Faith, your lips are super sexy. Thank you. So I've compiled this list. I'm going to go down the line, and then later on, I may open up the panel depending on how I feel. You know, some of y'all, you know, it's hard to deal with you, and I'm up here solo today. I don't have my partner in crime to run interference today. So I'm completely and utterly wide open. I'm not protected. I am completely unprotected. So I'm at you guys' mercy. But Black women, we are, first of all, pretty much criticized for many things. But giving birth is the number one thing that Black women happen to be criticized for. Giving birth. So you mean to tell me the women that gave you life, the women that give birth to Black men and Black women, we're the scourge of the earth? Single motherhood is single-handedly something that Black women are responsible for alone. And so she alone is criticized for it. Last time I checked, just bear with me, guys. Last time I checked, it took a man and a woman to create a baby. But why is it in the Black community only the Black woman is criticized for giving birth to the baby, for bringing the baby into the world? These are questions that I'd like answered when I open up the panel, because we are often criticized for that. Yet none of you who are so angry that you were born, so angry that your single mama brought you into this world, so angry that you were born poor and Black, none of you will kill yourselves, though. See, if I was that upset about my life, that, if I was born to a single mother, born into poverty, born into all of this terribleness, I would want to kill myself, right? But of course, faith is not saying that anyone should kill themselves. But I'm just thinking rationally, if I'm going to criticize my very being, and this is exactly what you people are doing, namely Black men, this is what you're doing when you sit up here and you get angry about your being here. Because make no mistake, these guys are not angry that they're here. See, they'll talk about single mothers, but they're pretty okay with their single mother having gave birth to them, though. If you ask them if they would take their selves and ball themselves up in a little knot and go back into the birth canal if they could, none of them would say yes. None of them. But they're angry about the next generation being born and being given the chance to, gallivant around here complaining about the life that they were blessed with. And so, as Tupac says, you have a nation of babies that'll hate the ladies that make the babies. That was very prophetic. Very prophetic. Because that's exactly what's going on now. Me personally, I'm glad my parents gave birth to me. And mind you, I came from a 2-parent household. My parents were both married. And they did a good job raising me, my brother, my sister. They did. They did the best they could. Were they rich? No. Were they poor? They were working poor. Working middle class, poorish, They did all right. There was a lot of things I couldn't get. There was some dysfunction in my household. Back then, men thought that they laid down the iron fist in their household. And when I mean the iron fist, my father, he was physically abusive to my mother. And so I had to witness domestic violence growing up as a child. Not a great thing to have to grow up with. It made me sad most of the time when it occurred. It made me sad. And it made me feel helpless. But not one time did I ever think, I wish I wasn't born. Or one time did I ever blame my mother for giving birth to me and bringing me into that situation. Not one time. It wasn't the best situation and it wasn't the worst situation, but it was my situation and I was thankful to be here. And when I became an adult, I took control over my own life. And I left that situation behind me. We as Black people, we are not born into the most ideal situations. Stefan Moultrie says, Faith, I tried to pull my dad off my mom at 6 years old. Yeah. And see, back during that time, Stefan, you look, because I saw a picture of you, you look like you're maybe a Generation Xers. Generation Xers, we were raised by the baby boomers. The baby boomers were into that domestic violence thing, and they passed that down to Generation X. Unfortunately. Miss J says, at the Faith Factor, I've had a similar childhood. Ish stays with you. I never blamed my mom for giving birth to me, but I did go through wishing I could yeet myself. I didn't because of my mom. Oh my gosh. Oh, Miss J, I'm sorry. You know, that's just it. You know, we are not born into the most ideal situations, and I'm glad that you never blamed your mom. And I'm glad that you were able to get through that without doing anything to damage or harm yourself, because I wouldn't be able to have the pleasure of hearing your beautiful, warm voice here on social media and some of the great perspective that you have to share with the rest of the world. So I'm glad that you were able to overcome that situation. We're not born into the best situation as African American people. None of us are. I can tell you that great majority of us probably had some dysfunction in our childhood that we can point back to and say that we survived it. Not that we should be having to do that, but majority of us have. And it was a problem that wasn't just brought upon because our mothers gave birth to us. That's what I'm trying to point out today. Your mother giving birth to you did not cause your father to put his hands on her and beat her and cause you to have a terrible childhood. It was the domestic violence in the household that caused you to have a terrible childhood, not your mother giving birth to you. None of that. Simply giving birth does not mean that there will automatically be dysfunction. Dysfunctional people cause dysfunction. That is what causes it, not just giving birth. There are plenty of households where people grew up being raised just by one parent. And it was actually, they were better off being with just the one parent than that parent being with the father. Like I had here I go using my family again. If my family's watching, I'm not going to say anybody's name. I'm going to be vague. Okay, I'm going to be vague. But I have an aunt, and she was in a domestic violence situation. When I was young, they came to live with my parents. And I saw him, beating up on her. So domestic violence was a normalized thing in the Black community, especially among the baby boomers. And so my aunt, she wasn't like my mom. My mom stayed, and I always thought that my mom should have left. I love my dad with all my heart, but I never felt that my mom should have stayed in that situation. My aunt, she wasn't like my mom. She said, okay, F all this. I'm going to take my children, raise them myself, and I'm going to leave and get out of this situation. And so she moved to a whole nother city to get away from this guy. She had to leave all of her friends and all of her family just to get away from this guy. And you know what? Her by herself, as a single mother, created a more nurturing, loving, safe environment for her children than if she had stayed in that toxic relationship. And to this day, her children, they talk about how happy their childhood was. They reminisce about how their mother always put them first before anybody. And she wasn't thinking she needed a man to make her whole or complete her. She just was thinking that she needed to supply an environment for her children where they could grow up and be healthy, well-adjusted, and productive members of society. That's what she did for them. So it's not just the fact that she gave birth, but it was the fact that when she gave birth, she was with somebody that was toxic. And so we have to be very careful, because giving birth alone was not what's holding the community back. But now in both of these scenarios and all of these scenarios with the domestic violence, I want you guys to pay attention to who the culprit is that is causing the toxicity in the environment. That again is the Black man. Now I'm quite sure that whatever transpired between him and the mother that created that domestic violence situation, maybe she also has something to do with it, but it's never an excuse to put your hands on somebody. Now, she could be dead wrong in things that she's saying to him verbally, but it's never an excuse, because children don't understand psychological abuse. Like you could see your mother being psychologically abusive, and when you're that young growing up, you don't understand psychological, but you do understand, and you do perceive physical. Now, children, when there's psychological abuse occurring, it could be done to them, and they would not understand anything about what's happening at all. And I'm not saying that one is more toxic than the other, but I'm just putting it out there as a child that came from a very abusive situation where my father was both mentally and physically abusive to my mom. Miss J said there's nothing better than living in a quiet, peaceful house after living in a war zone. Exactly. Now, there are a couple of more super chats. Latasha Stanfield, welcome. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. And Stefan Moultrie again. He says, I'm your partner in crime, baby. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But now let's move along, because giving birth is one thing that Black women are blamed for in the Black community. That's the first thing I wanted to talk about. And I wanted to break down how giving birth alone does not create a toxic environment. Not the giving birth alone. So it's got to be something else. Got to be something else that you can cling to, right? All right, well, let's look at how Black women are blamed for destroying the Black community. Let's just look at this one, because we have been accused as a group of women that we single-handedly destroyed the Black community. Black women did. We did it by ourselves. No help from nobody else. Just us. We're accused of destroying the Black community by going back to the giving birth, because we gave birth to the community. We destroyed it. Because, of course, in also giving birth, they tell us that we should have chose better. They're telling Black women that when you were 15, 16, 17, and you were knocked up, because a lot of us were teenage parents. Can we also acknowledge during the baby boomer Generation X time that we had a high teenage pregnancy problem? And so when you were a teenager, you should have had the wisdom to choose better. And so therefore, you, the teenage wrecking crew, Black woman, destroyed the Black community by yourself, because you were choosing all of these guys. We just so happened, a whole bunch of us just so happened to stumble across men who were abusive, that beat our ass and were emotionally abusive, financially abusive, physically abusive, all of us, the great majority of us, just kept stumbling across the same guy. And for generations and generations and generations, because even our mothers and mothers' mothers kept meeting the same black man. And it was all our fault by ourselves. It's not maybe that, there wasn't a good pool of men that all of us kept stumbling across the same black man. Wasn't that? But all of us are just bad pickers. We're really bad pickers. Every single last one of you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Hold on a second. I got to put my phone on Do Not Disturb because people will go crazy texting me when they see I'm online. So now, here's the deal. You should have chose better. You should have known better. You should have known that this guy was going to knock you up and leave you, even though your mother and your grandmother and your grandmother's grandmother, they didn't know that about their husbands. And those that were with their husbands didn't know that their husbands were physically and emotionally abusive. But somehow, we alone destroyed the black community because we should have chose better. Now, once again, in this scenario, we are totally ignoring that all of these women are seeming to come across the same type of black man. Could it be, I don't know, could it be that there aren't very many decent prospects for black women in the community? And when I mean decent prospects, I'm not even just talking about Pookie and Ray Ray, because Ray Charles can see that Pookie and Ray Ray are not a decent prospect. But we got Dirty Dick Rick running around here. We got Robert. We got Gregory. Not just Pookie, not just Ray Ray. We got those guys. Gregory earns a nice little salary. He got a job working at the Amtrak on the railroad. He brings in good money, but Gregory is physically and emotionally abusive. He's highly entitled in his own mind. He's pushed down, he feels, by the system. And if he cannot control the system, then he feels as if he wants to control his woman. But we're supposed to know this already. We're supposed to have a crystal ball. And so while we're dating Gregory's taking us to very nice restaurants like Papa Do's, Benihana's. He's not cheap. He's very respectful to your mother when you would introduce him to her. If you have a kid, he brings the child a toy for the first time. So you have no reason to suspect that Gregory's an asshole underneath it all, do you? And some of these people, they can keep up this facade until they get what they want, until they think they got you. But isn't that kind of like how narcissism works? All the love bombing, you know, the terms that we like to throw around out here. They'll love bomb you to death until they get you. And they know they got you. Give you that good wham wham in the bedroom, right? They got you. And so then you marry Gregory, right? And you have children with Gregory. And next thing you know, while you're standing in the kitchen washing dishes, you done just got your hair done, is laid nicely. It just got your hair done. And Gregory comes home and you're thinking you're looking good for your man, but all he sees is you looking good and you've been home all day, and now he's wondering who you looking good for. So now he's sitting in the kitchen mad. And you wondering where all this heat is coming from. You done cook Gregory a nice meal. He see the new outfit you bought. You thinking you bought that new outfit to look good for your man. But unbeknownst to you, Gregory is sitting there working himself up. He looking you up and down from head to toe. He looking around the house. He asking the kids who been back. Oh, the cable guy was in here. He said mom was very pretty. Oh, you fucking the cable guy now. Next thing you know, that pretty hairdo that you just did, he dunk your head in the dishwater. Gregory done dunked your head in the dishwater. And when you finally get pulled up for air, then he knock you out into the middle of next week. And you waking up in the ER wondering what the hell just happened. But it's your fault because you should have chose better. And see, these are real scenarios. I know people, real people, that have actually gone through this. And see, you don't know until you know. But now you're married to Gregory. You had a kid before you were with him, and now you have his kid. Gregory pays all the bills. But you have single-handedly destroyed the Black community when you have finally had enough of Gregory and you leave him. So now all the Black community see is you, a single mother with 2 children, and you're back on the dating market. That's all they see. You're a single mother with 2 children, and now you're back on the dating market, and now they will point to you and say that you have destroyed the Black community. And if you tell them your terrible experience with Gregory, they will tell you you should have chose better. But you don't know until you know. They won't say it's good that you got out of that situation. Because see, a lot of the criticism towards Black women in the Black community does not come from a place of love. It comes from a place of hatred. Can we just really, really finally be honest about this? Because if a woman tells a man, I was in a domestic violence situation, this man was beating my ass. I got tired. I didn't want to take it anymore. I got my children and I left. But no, the men, especially of the Black community, will say, you destroyed the Black community because you broke up a household. That's number one. And number two, if he was beating your ass, you must have had a mouth. You must have had a mouth on you. There's a lot of reasons that they will give you where it's your fault. So we do a lot of blaming the victim in the Black community as well, in order to fit our narratives. Joe W. says, because too many Black men who are relationship with Black women treat her as an adversary as opposed to an ally. Exactly. Exactly. And so when that happens and a person gets fed up, Black men are always complaining that Black women are the first to file for divorce. Why do you think that is? Now, it's already bad enough that domestic violence in our community usually go grossly unreported, and it builds up and builds up for a long period of time. That's because those women are trying to stay in those marriages and those relationships. They're trying to make something work that they can't possibly make work, because that person needs psychiatric therapy. They need treatment. And 9 times out of 10, they refuse it. So the only thing you can do is divorce him and leave, protect your children, and provide the environment that they deserve to grow up in. That's the only thing that you can do. Next thing, Black women are always accused of weaving and wearing the makeup. They say we weavealicious and we wear too much makeup. Now, I remember back in the day, growing up, I remember my mother wearing wigs, okay? And I remember my grandmother, putting the powder on her face and her makeup. Back in the day, this is something that's fresh and new, by the way, that's only happened over the last 20 years, where men are complaining about weave and makeup. But wigs, makeup have existed way before then. But the reason that Black men are complaining about it now is because there's that passive aggressive beating up on Black women, overly criticizing for no reason. They're doing it not out of constructive criticism, but it's out of hatred. Because what has this hair got to do with the Black community? What does my makeup have to do with anything? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yet you'll have Black men saying, Black women, you spend an exorbitant amount of money on your hair. Actually, if we break it down, I'm also natural under this wig. You guys have seen pictures of me with my natural hair. You've seen pictures of me with this wig. I like versatility. I like to switch it up sometimes. I want an afro sometimes. I want a sleek curly hair sometimes. I want a body wave sometimes. I like to switch it up. Right, Koja. The goal is to break down a woman's self-esteem and keep her spirit down. That's the reason why they're over here talking about weave and makeup. But pay attention. OnlyFans is something that they've been talking about in these YouTube streets as of lately. Those women on OnlyFans, Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, all racial groups of women. They're wearing all types of makeup. They got on all types of weave. And they're getting all types of money. Why do you have so many men flocking to these Instagram models? Majority of these Instagram models, weaving it up, got on the makeup. When guys see the women on the street. Now, when I'm natural, I'm walking down the street, I get a few, people, say, oh, you look beautiful today or whatever. But when I'm looking like this is when I get the most attention. Let's just be honest about this. This is when I get the most attention. So what you guys say you want and what you actually respond to are two different things. So it leads me right back to what Cole just said. The goal is to break down a woman's self-esteem, keep her spirit down. The same reason why Gregory dunked his wife's head in the dishwater. Because he knew she was looking good and he didn't want her looking good for anybody else. He didn't want her to be attractive to anybody else. So he wanted to tear down her self-esteem and keep her spirit down. So he dunked her head in that dishwater. No, Era, it's not love. Eric Black TV says from a dude or guys who don't love black women. Yeah, these are guys that don't love black women. Or they hate themselves. There's something going on within these men that they hate themselves. Oh, wow, Renee. Renee A says, a dude literally told me that once. He said, yeah, I think I can take you down. I was so perplexed. That's crazy. I mean, we are not your adversaries. And there should be no men discussing with women what they do to beautify themselves. Women of all racial groups do things to beautify themselves. White women go and get the Botox, around the eye area and in the forehead area to kind of lift up this area so that they can look younger. They get Botox injections in the lips to kind of plump out their lips. And I don't hear white men complaining. And there's a lot of them that do it. Because out here on the West Coast, they got those Botox clinics out here like, it's like going in and ordering order chicken wings. That's how these white and Hispanic women be going up in there getting them Botox. And their men are not sitting up here talking about these fake plump lip females and blah, blah, blah. You don't hear none of that. But in black society, we got black men complaining about how black women beautify themselves. And it is not out of constructive criticism. It's not out of love. It actually costs me more money to take care of my natural hair. I remember back before the natural hair movement was popular, I could go and find regular, essential oils for my hair for like 59 cents. Now the same regular essential oils are costing me like $9, $15 a bottle. When I permed my hair, all I did was I bought one big jar of perm, and then I would just perm my hair, and I had one bottle of moisturizer, some little grease that I would grease my scalp with, and that was it, and my shampoo. But with this natural hair, I got to have shampoo and conditioner I used to wash with. I got to have a pre-poo. I got to have a leave-in conditioner. I got to have all these essential oils to keep my natural hair from drying out. It cost me more money to take care of my natural hair than when I was perming. So this is why men should stay out of the conversation of women and how we beautify ourselves. because you know not what you talk about. And I went through a lot with my hair. My natural hair is about shoulder length now, and I keep cutting it because there's a little problem with breakage. Because I like variety, I'm always messing with my hair. Black hair is the most fragile hair out there. We have the most fragile hair. So if you keep putting your hands in it, you keep manipulating it, you're going to have breakage every day. So these wigs and the protective hairstyles that we like to wear saves our hair so that Arab Black TV can have something to play with. And Joe W can have something to play with. And my man can have something to play with. So when you're taking us to bed, we're not going to bed with this wig on all the time. We do take it off. We do shake out our natural hair, and it is long. We have hair under these wigs that we do take care of, majority of us. And we can kick back in the bedroom and you can grab, touch, pull all you want. Miss J says it takes time and money. I've cut my hair numerous times out of aggravation. Luckily, my hair grows pretty fast, but I don't have the patience for it. Exactly. I don't have time to be fooling around. It takes a very long time to style natural hair too. Like this loose hair, I can just throw this up on my head, brush it out real fast, and I'm gone. I'm peace. I'm out. But when I got to do my natural hair, if I want a perfectly good, twist out, I got to twist it out. I got to make sure that there's a good moisture ratio. I got to make sure my ends looking right. I got to make sure that I fluff it out just right. And it takes a bit of time. Takes a bit of time. Renee says I'm a natural, a lazy one. Me too. I'm a lazy natural. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like messing around with my hair. Now my sister, on the other hand, she loves fussing with her hair, but she got time. She doesn't work a full long hours like I do. So she have time to be in that mirror, fluffing and puffing. But her hair also falls out fast. It falls out fast. Then I'll see her in about 2 or 3 months. She got braids in because she's trying to grow her hair back out. So that's the other thing that Black women are being blamed for. Too much weave, too much makeup. What difference does it make? How is this affecting the Black community, what we're doing to our hair and our makeup? It's really none of your business. AP from the Bronx. And once again, thank you for being a channel member. She says, I love my natural hair. I will never put perm, straightening comb, and flat iron in my hair ever again. My hair is thick and looks like a mane. You know what? I like the look of natural hair too, to be honest with you. Like, it's something about being in your natural hair. It makes you feel free. You can just run your hands all through your hair. It's good, when it's good. When it's good. Now, if you got that type of natural hair that's always kind of looking tame, when you wake up, you pull the bonnet off, all you got to do is shake it out and pluff it out and all that type of stuff. It's good. But see, I ain't got that type of hair. I got that nappy, super coiled up, 4C, dry as hell hair. Okay, that I got to constantly pump moisture into this shit. I got to constantly pump my hair. It drinks up water. It drinks up oil. I don't know. Like, I put water and oil in my hair and conditioner, and in 1 hour, it's gone. I have highly porous hair. Highly porous. Like, I can't deal with it every day. Not every day. But on times when it's good. When it's good, it's good. But when it's bad, it's bad. But let me move on to the next thing here. All right, Black women, we are blamed for being poor. Now, never mind, we are all born into a situation that, most of us are not born with the silver spoon in our mouths. But for some reason or another, it's even worse. You a Black woman, you poor, you a broke bitch. And so Black men will sit up here and criticize you for having what they say a low net worth. They will criticize you for this. They will criticize you for having to take out a student loan when you were pursuing education so that you can come out of being poor. They will criticize you for this, not knowing that there is such a thing as good debt. Student loans are actually considered good debt. But yet you're criticized for being poor, even though you're part of the poorest group in this country. We are the poorest group in this country. Yet, for some reason, Black women alone, once again, the most criticized of anybody, Black, white, poor, male or female, Black women, you are the scourge of the earth because you're poor, though. You're the scourge of the earth. You have no business being poor, and especially if you're poor, you have no business buying this hair. You have no business fixing yourself up. You have no business having any type of pride in yourself whatsoever, especially with you being poor. And also with you being poor, you need to not be so picky and choosy. If you run up on Stefan Moultrie and he wants to take you out on a $40 date, and that's how much he spent on both of y'all, you poor. You better take what you can get, girl. And if Stefan wants to have sex after that $40 date, well, he feels entitled because he spent his last $40 on you. Don't you understand? You poor. You're not supposed to have standards. Your standards too high. You're being unrealistic. You're being unrealistic when you tell Stefan that you ain't that type of girl. You being unrealistic when you tell BMT, Business Minded Talk, that $40 wasn't busting a grape. Your standards too high. You gotta lower it. What they tell you. You gotta be reasonable. Stefan said, "Really, your faith?" I'm just messing, Stefan. I'm just messing with you. I am Allison in Wonderland. Exactly. She says, so many non-Black people are drowning in debt, and their partners don't disparage them. Self-loathing with us is at an all-time high. Exactly. But no, Black woman, you are poor. You better take what you can get. You better not have any type of standards, because if you have any type of standards, they tell you that you're being unrealistic. You're supposed to be free when you're poor. You're supposed to be free. You're supposed to accept $40 and that penis and be happy. DA says they blame Black women for everything, literally. It's sickening to see how Black women who support these idiots, although they can keep on supporting them. And next thing you know, there will be a woman's sphere or some kind of broadcast where you have these angry women busting out, and they're angry all the time, 24/7 hatred and anger, because they done subjected themselves to the abuse for too long. And that's the other thing. We as women, if we're in a situation where we're subjected to abuse for a long period of time, we begin to lash out at men and at other women. You'll be like Crimson Cure over there on her channel, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, mad. Because she's over there with those misogynistic guys all the time. I know she got to get tired of them, but she's going to keep lashing out at black women. She's going to keep regurgitating and sounding like them in the hopes of getting them pity pats on the head. She's going to get her Scooby snacks. And they give her pat on the head and her Scooby snacks. And that's enough to sustain for another day. See, and once again, these pity pats on the head and these Scooby snacks only last a day. Then you got to come back again tomorrow and do it all over again to get your self-esteem boost. My self-esteem is boosted every day because it comes from within me. I don't look outward to anybody. I get up in the morning, I put myself together, and I decide, Faith, you look damn good. Faith, you're beautiful. Girl, if I was a nigga, I would sop you up with a biscuit. I tell myself this. Self-esteem is in me. And there's nothing none of you Negroes can do to take that away either. Because I don't thrive off of anything that any of you say. Not even my guy. My guy gives me compliments and that makes me feel good, of course. But if he one day decided that he didn't want to compliment me, I'm not going to feel bad about it. I'm just going to think he changed his mind today. He changed his mind. Oh, well, bye-bye. Right, I'm Allison in Wonderland. Affirmations. You give yourself affirmations. And then what happens is it will come in the form of people on the outside validating the affirmations that you give yourself. I already know I got a pretty smile. I know I got sexy lips. But thank you for affirming that earlier today, Stefan Moultrie. You just affirmed what I already know. And this is not me being cocky or none of that type of stuff. But this is me giving you an example of how it starts from within. Starts from within. Arab Black, stop being messy. All right, moving right along. I think I'm getting through these pretty good. Next up, they talk about the way we dress. They like to talk about the way we dress. And I touched on it a little bit earlier. So the new thing that has been going on, especially with the whole Derek Jackson fiasco, is the bonnet. Where's my bonnet? Where's my bonnet? I got a bonnet, y'all. Hold on a second. I got a big bonnet. Hold on. So they're really into criticizing the way we dress. So if I get on here today and I put on my bonnet, this is my bonnet when I don't have anything on, you know. So I just want to protect my edges or something like that. All right, so Question: Does Faith go to the mailbox with her bonnet on? I live in a gated community with some bougie ass white people, and I might go to the mailbox with my bonnet on. I might do that. Okay. So this is just one of my bonnets. And then I have the bigger bonnet. Okay. And ladies, you all know what we use the bigger bonnet for, right? We know what we use the bigger bonnet for. So this is my bigger bonnet that I use when I have braids in my head, or, you know, I got this hair on and it's like kind of mowed down real good. It's glued to my scalp and I don't want to take it off. So I wear the bigger bonnet. So the bigger bonnet goes to bed. Okay. And so black men are talking about our bonnets. Do you not know, fun little fact, bonnets were not just something that black women, they're not just something that black women wear. Do you know that women of all races wear a bonnet to protect their hairstyles and their hair and, you know, all that good stuff? You know, we wear bonnets and we have the lace, not the lace, the satin pillows and the whole 9 yards. We're not the only group of women that do this. But for some reason, when black women do it, we're the scourge of the earth. We're the scourge of the earth. Let's see what you guys are saying. DA says, I don't think it looks good for women or men to wear bonnet outside, but if they were to take off their bonnet, it wouldn't make a huge difference in their lives. These people are poor and, okay, something, she got cut off. All right, so that was DA. And Allison in Wonderland says, Orthodox wear bonnets, scarves, caps 24/7. Exactly. So this bonnet thing, you know, like me personally, if I know I'm going somewhere like public, I got a little bit more pride in myself, where I'm not going to be wearing this bonnet to the bank. I'm not going to put it on and wear it in the supermarket. I'm not going to go to the park and go jogging in it. You know, I have a little bit more, yeah, I have pride. Okay, my pride will not allow me to wear this bonnet, you know, public. Okay, I've seen people go to the McDonald's in the bonnet where people can see you. Like, I don't want nobody, the only time you guys will ever see me in a bonnet is right now. And this is me doing a demonstration. But around my house, I do wear the bonnet in the morning time before I get dressed, because I'm in my pajamas and I'm comfortable. Okay. But when I get ready to go somewhere public, I don't wear the bonnet. I can't do it. When I go visit my mama, I don't visit my mama with a bonnet on. I think it's disrespectful. And so I just don't do it. So I'm Allison says she takes hers off as soon as she was waking. She wakes up and you know, that's on you. You know, me, it take me a minute to get going in the morning. Okay. For Faith, you know, I need a minute. So I'm getting right up with the bonnet on, and it's going to take me a minute. I'm sorry. Because, you know, when I get up, I'm going to go walk straight into the kitchen and I'm going to grab me some coffee. That's my routine. I'm going to grab me a bagel and I'm going to put my whipped cream on it and drink my coffee and eat my bagel and, you know, stuff like that so I can get going. That's just my morning ritual. Then I might hop in the shower and that's, you know, when I hop in the shower, the bonnet comes off when I hop in the shower. So the way we dress, we are always criticized for. And I don't know if you guys can see, but cleavage. Okay, cleavage. If we're showing too much body, we're criticized for showing too much body. Now, in my earlier example with Gregory, looking his wife up and down, noticing her cute little outfit, she done got cleavage showing, She got a nice little form-fitting outfit, showing off them curves, got the little booty poking out there, And we're criticized for that. But out here in Arizona, man, these Hispanic chicks got booty hanging everywhere. Booty, 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 booty rocking everywhere out here. All I see is ass out here. I see little ass. I see medium-sized ass. I see big ass. I see flabby ass. I see cellulite ass. I see all the ass out here. And this is majority non-black state. I think we make up only like maybe 18%, 20% of the population out here. And I never hear the guys of the other communities complaining, our women look like hoes. I never hear them complaining about this. As a matter of fact, the other day I was at the chiropractor. Yeah, I got little neck problems, My neck is bothering me. But anyway, I was at the chiropractor. And this white woman came in with a great big booty and an itty bitty waist. And she had on one of those form-fitting, what do you call them, yoga pants and the sports bra. That's all she had on. And the white men were sitting around. They wasn't even paying her no attention. They walk around like that all day out here. The white men are unbothered. The Hispanic men are unbothered. And I mean, there's body for days out here. If you are a man that are into bodies out here on the West Coast, that's all they got is bodies. Boobs, booty, itty bitty waist, flat belly, thighs, legs, body. These women got body. And they be showing it. And these guys are unbothered. They're unbothered. Now, if these women on the West Coast went to like maybe, I don't know, Baltimore, if these women on the West Coast went to Baltimore with that shit, niggas would lose their mind. If they went to Detroit with that shit, niggas would lose their mind. If they went to Inglewood, Southside Chicago with that shit, niggas would lose their mind. So you, on the one hand, you like these hoes, you like how these hoes dress, but then when these hoes don't choose you, all of a sudden you're talking about how they dress. You're talking about how they dressing too promiscuous. Look at her. She in the picture with her kids. There was a black woman that did a photo shoot with her children. And it was one of those artistic type photo shoots. And people drug her for filth. Because she was looking too sexy. And then the woman had a beautiful body. She had a beautiful body, a beautiful shape. And it was an artistic photograph. And niggas was tearing her down for looking good in the picture. They want you to dress, they claim, this is what they say. They want you to dress like Claire Huxtable, like Betty Shabazz, like June Cleaver. You know, this is somewhat a June Cleaver dress I got on. I don't know if you guys can see it. Hold on a second. I can stand up for a second. Y'all see my see me getting my June Cleaver on with my. This is somewhat of a June Cleaver dress. Somewhat. They want you to get your June Cleaver on. And the fashion trends say, no. So, you know, I don't know what to tell you guys. You guys are upset because the women are out here looking good and, you know, nice. They're looking good. They're looking nice. They're looking sexy. Why can't you just say that these women look nice and keep it moving? I Am Allison in Wonderland says, they're lying. When you're modest, they say you're boring, goody, nerdy, and need to loosen up. Exactly. They just want to be the one who corrupts you. Bingo. Allison in Wonderland, bingo. She said, they just want to be the one who corrupts you. Bingo. Don't you be a hoe for that guy over there. But you can be a hoe for me. But not for him. Not that nigga over there. But for me, you can be a hoe. And then when I get tired of using you and using you up, I'm going to throw you back out there. You can give me all that wholeness. I'll take every bit of it. Let me be the one to corrupt you. Exactly, Allison. You hit the nail right on the head. And once again, this is not coming from a place of love. This is not constructive criticism. This is coming from a place of, I want to subvert you. I want to put you down. I want to keep you down. They're trying to take up real estate in your mind. This is a control mechanism. This is a control mechanism. Are you going to let them control you? Because this don't have anything to do with the Black community. Look at the age that we're living in. Look at how women everywhere are dressing. You mean to tell me that Black women are the only women that can't show our booty? When I'm out here on the West Coast, everybody out here showing their ass. Exactly, Miss J. They want to humble you. They want you to be more humble. So they say. And then after they humble you and you done put on the dasiki and the little head dress and everything else and covered yourself from head to toe and made yourself completely unattractive to any man, then they're out there looking at the hoes that dress like that. I never forget when I was processing, I was going to become a Muslim. I had my red pill moment when I was in there and they were insisting that I wear the hijab or whatever they call it. And I was hot. It was like August, the hottest month of the year. I was in this hot ass hijab. And the only thing I could show was my ankle. Long sleeves and everything. Hot. And I'm hot. You know the humidity in Chicago? When it get to be like 100 degrees, that humidity is killer. I was hot. Then I'm in the daggone mosque I'm at the mosque, hot than a motherfucker, and these niggas is bringing women in off the street looking like regular females. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. I got to wear the hijab. I got to wear this long ass shit covering my damn ankles and shit, hot than a motherfucker. And you niggas can bring females off the street that look like that and they comfortable in this motherfucker. Man, when I seen them bitches coming in there in the mosque looking comfortable, wearing regular clothes, I took off my hijab, opened up my little top and everything. I'm like, fuck all y'all. I stopped processing. But that wasn't the day I stopped processing, but that was the day I stopped caring. That was the day I stopped caring. And I'm not baking any more of your bean pies. Fuck you. Anyway. So yeah, they try to oppress you by talking about the way you dress. It is a tactic that they use to try to put you down and lower your self-esteem. The same way they talk about the hair and the makeup, it's a tactic that they use to put you down and try to lower your self-esteem. And ironically, Black women, we do it to each other too. We'll sit up here and call each other hoes. We'll sit up here and talk about hair hats, call each other hair hats. We call each other, we'll talk about each other's wigs. We'll talk about each other's makeup. We're just as misogynistic as the men too. We're just as misogynistic as these guys out here. And I think we're worse. There's this one particular YouTuber, I won't say her name, but she's with the Fab Five. Pretty young, pretty older woman, because she's old now. Big old tatas. They flabby now, but they big. She got a permanent pout to her lips. She looks like that to me. She looks like this. Big old eyes. She looks like a cross between the Taco Bell puppy and Mr. Ed. She's a cross between the Taco Bell puppy and Mr. Ed. But a lot of guys like her. You know, she's cute. I'm not gonna say she's not cute. She's cute. But she is another one that likes to be nice nasty. We're talking about other women and their looks. And heaven forbid, somebody else gives a female that she deems less attractive than herself a compliment. She doesn't want people giving women who she deems to be less attractive compliments. And I noticed that about a lot of Black women. And men notice that about us too. And they use that against us. Joe W. Stop being messy. Yeah, but lips is permanently shaped like this. That's how her lips are permanently shaped. Her lips are permanently shaped into the position of like she's giving a blowjob all the time. That's how she looks. She looks like she's giving a permanent blowjob all the time. So I'll leave it to you all imagination who I'm talking about. Miss J said, I want to see this chick. All right, now let me move on with my commentary. This is this is not about anybody else, but like I said, this person has a very, very blowed up sense of themselves. And so if any woman doesn't look exactly like her, dress exactly like her, wear the same extensions like her, keep their makeup looking like hers, then, she doesn't, vibe with that woman. And that's the other thing as Black women. We have to get out of this clique shit. Men don't do that. Men can be friends with other men that don't look exactly like each other. Men can be friends with a variety of different types of men and be completely okay with that. But for some reason or another, Black women, we are cliquish like a motherfucker. We're cliquish, we're sexist, we're classist. All things Nata Jean Faith, I can say her name. Yeah, you can. You can. You can put the name out there if you want to. Cliquish and sexist. We as women are this way to one another. And I can prove it. There have been studies about this. There are articles written about how cliquish and sexist we as women are to each other. Now, let me go and look at this article real quick. I'm not going to read the whole thing because I don't like, doing reading monologues. But this was an article written by a psychiatrist, and it's entitled "Some Women Are Inhumane to Other Women." And the reason I thought that this article was a good read, because this describes everything that we as women do to each other. But it starts off as saying, once upon a time, a long time ago, I believed that all women were kind, caring, maternal, valiant, and ever noble under siege, and that all men were their oppressors. I used to think that too. I thought that too. As everyone but a handful of idealistic feminists knew, this was not always true. Living my life and researching women's psychology have helped me to understand that, like men, women are really human beings, as close to apes as to angels, capable of both cruelty and compassion, envy and generosity, competition and cooperation. So we're capable of all these things as women. One of the reasons it is difficult for a woman to acknowledge that women, including herself, are aggressive and cruel is because these are not socially acceptable traits for women to have. And because a woman's best friends and confidants all usually are other women. Most women rely on family or female best friends. Women expect to be emotionally groomed, listened to, sympathized with by those women who most resemble themselves. Once again, this article is saying the same thing I've been saying. We want to be understood. We want to be emotionally groomed, listened to, sympathized with by women who most resemble ourselves. So if you are not like me, you cannot sit with me. That's how women are. This is why difference in appearance or ideas is so threatening to most women who rely upon shoulder-to-shoulder egalitarianism, and sameness among female intimates, rather than male-like hierarchies with a leader and a chain of command. If you don't look like me, you can't sit with me. Crystal Swirls said the same thing about Crystal and Harrison. You can say what you want to about Crystal Swirls, but Crystal Swirls keeps it real. She said, hey, Crystal said that I was too rough around the edges. I'm too fat to swirl. So Crystal and Sarah Harrison told Crystal Swirls, you can't sit with us. That's how we are as women. Female-to-female aggression and competition is normal and may to some extent be hardwired. In addition, women like men have internalized sexist beliefs. We either idolize women as fairy godmothers or we demonize them as evil stepmothers. Women have often higher and different expectations for other women than we do for men. Ain't that the truth, though? Don't we have higher expectations for other women than we do for men? We always tell women, you can't do what a man do. It's a double standard if you do it. A man can walk down the street butt naked, but if you walk down the street just with your drawers on, you the scourge of the earth. You can't do what he do. A man can sleep with as many women as he possibly can. But if you sleep with one man too many, you a hoe. You were 15 when you lost your virginity, you a hoe. He was 15 when he lost his virginity, he the man. Different standards. But let me read on. We tend not to forgive women when they fail us. We tend to have more compassion for male failure or imperfection. Isn't that the truth? Because if mama failed us, we'll never forgive mama, who was probably the only person there in our lives since the very beginning. But daddy, he could not be there at all. He could have not been there the whole 18 years of our lives while we were growing up. And yet, when he come back into our lives, we ready to forgive him and welcome him with open arms. Daddy, where you been? Daddy, where you been? But if that was your mama that abandoned you, this bitch right here, she just left me for dead. She didn't know what the hell was going to happen to me. That bitch. I'll never ever forgive that bitch for the rest of my life. Daddy was never there. Daddy. Don't we do it though? Don't we do it? But I'll continue. So where do we go from here? Everyone I interviewed for my book, Woman's Inhumanity to Woman, almost without exception, ended our conversation by asking me what steps women might take to deal with women's unacknowledged aggressive and sexism. And what might the parents of teenage girls tell their daughters about how to handle female taunting and ostracism? Thus, what should women do? Humbly accept that change is a process. That's what you should do. Change is a process. We must first accept that change is a process. And it's one that cannot be rushed. You can't rush change. We will have the rest of our lives to work on transforming envy and conformity into tolerance and individuality, and on doing good and not evil in the world. Because we some evil bitches. We can be some evil bitches towards one another. So what should women do? Acknowledge and do not deny the truth. We must acknowledge some painful truths. A woman must admit that women are normally aggressive and competitive, and that oppressed women are also very angry, and as such, they tend to take their anger out on each other. Didn't I say this earlier? When you are an oppressed woman, when you're dealing with men that hold you down and oppress you, and that all that anger and animosity bottles up, and who do you lash out to? You lash out at the people that are closest to you, and it's usually the other women in the vicinity. Especially if the woman is happy-go-lucky, she looked like she's just, not having any type of worries in life. She's just going about her merry day. Faith come in the room, Faith all happy and go lucky, and she ain't got none of the problems that you other bitches got. And then here comes some angry bitch out of nowhere. Faith, you ain't shit. You think you all that? You ain't shit. You ain't cute. You can't sit with me. What the hell did I do to you? What the heck? Where is this coming from? I just came in the room happy and smiling. What the fuck? Fuck you, bitch. And the horse you rode in on. That's why your man left you for another woman. Well, damn. Damn. I mean, he did leave me for another woman, but that was like 10 years ago. I moved on. What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh my goodness. Won't we do it though? Won't we do it? But let me go on. I'm sorry. I like to act. I like to act. Sorry about that. So oppressed women are very angry, and as such, they tend to take out their anger on each other. Such an acknowledgement may help a woman become more realistic about what to expect from other women and become clear about her own limitations as well. Be strong. Each woman must develop a strong sense of self and a sense of her own utter uniqueness. No one can take your good away from you. Honor your own ambition. Honor other women's ambition. Support strong women who are different from you, not only weak women who agree with you totally and who therefore do not threaten you. Don't we do that though, ladies? Don't we do that? AP from the Bronx said, you can't sit with us, Faith. You too happy. So Miss J say, what the horse did to deserve to be insulted. You know what? I'm a work in progress, Miss J. She did not deserve to be insulted. That's the reason why I will not say her name, because she's never said mine, but every time I'm in the room, she just so happens to want to, be nice, nasty. But see, when I get ready to insult you, when I really, really get ready to insult you, I'm going to say your name. I'm not going to insult you from behind. I'm going to slap you in the face from the front. And I'm not going to be nice, nasty about it. I hate nice, nasty. These nice, nasty bitches get on my nerve. Just if you don't like me, just say you don't like me. Allison says, I haven't watched her in a while, but I feel you. Yeah, like I said, I'm not saying not to watch her either. She has good content. She does say a lot of good things. So I'm not hating on her, even though she have hated on me. Don't know why, because she says that I'm not as pretty as her or charismatic as her. But for some reason, there's some hate. People kill me with that too. You have nothing for me to hate on. Yet why? Why do you hate then? If there's nothing to hate on, where is this coming from? Nothing to hate on over there. You ain't got nothing. You did this and that. Sounding just as misogynistic as these guys. If there's nothing to hate on, I never talked to you a day in your life. We don't know each other like that. Why the hate? Why the hate? So this article, this is the most important paragraph in this article, and I'm going to repeat it real quick. It says, each woman must develop a strong sense of self and a sense of her own utter uniqueness. There is no perfect person under the sun. I have imperfections. I got oily skin. You guys can see it. When the light hits my skin, it looks like I'm glowing, but actually that's oil. I usually keep tissue next to me, big old box of tissue, because I gotta pat. So I'm not perfect, guys. I'm not perfect. There's no perfect person under the sun. So I'd be lying if I'm saying that I don't have any imperfections. Every woman, no matter how beautiful she thinks she is, has imperfection. I have not seen not one perfect person ever. Usually, if she has a beautiful face, she has a flat ass. If she has a flat ass, if she has a big ass, she has little titties. Or, the skin ain't right, or she's oily, or she bald head. There's always something. There's no perfect person under the sun. None. And here's the thing, no matter how beautiful you think you are, there's somebody that's tired of your shit. There's somebody that don't even think you all that. Now, drop the chalupa, Mrs. Ed. Like I said, she looks like a cross between the chalupa puppy and Mr. Ed, with them two big ass teeth in the front. You know what? I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I need to stop. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Now I'm hating. I'm sorry, but she thinks that she's perfect. And it's really good to affirm yourself and think highly of yourself. But when it gets to a point where you have to put another woman down in order to make yourself feel better, that tells me that you're not whole as a person. You're not whole as a human being. And there's something about me that is a threat to you. Not sure what it is. Maybe it could be that because I'm confident and nobody can shake that. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But whatever it is, you got to figure it out for yourself. But I'm going to be the one to congratulate you. I'm going to be the one to root you on. And I'm going to be the one that's going to appreciate your strength, the things that make you a strong woman. I'm going to be the one that appreciates that. And no, I don't want a bunch of women around me that are just pit bulls or yes ma'ams. I don't need pit bulls. I don't need yes ma'ams around me. I need equally strong. I need equally independent minded women who are unique in their own right. I appreciate that in other women. Miss J said at the Faith Factor, thanks to you, I will never get that mental picture out of my head. It can't be unseen. I'm gonna stop, y'all. I'm trying to convey a message here, and I'm not being very sporty myself, so I apologize. But anyway, going back to the article, because like I said, this hit the nail on the head about a lot of things. As women, we need to be strong enough to take criticisms. That's the other thing. Black women, we are really bad at taking constructive criticism. I'm not talking about criticism that's not constructive. I'm talking about constructive criticisms. We're bad at that. We are right. And even when we're wrong, we have the need to be right. It's okay to acknowledge when you're wrong sometimes. It's perfectly okay. It does not take anything away from you as a human being, as an individual. As a matter of fact, that gives you one to grow on when you can say, you know what, I didn't think about it that way. Or maybe I was wrong about this. Or you were right about that. It doesn't take anything away from you at all to do that. But women often become offended and emotional very quickly. We may be oversensitive to criticism because we have been excessively and unjustly criticized by both women and men from a very young age. And I know this because in the Black community, Black women are overly criticized by both men and women. Yes. We also might have been treated as if we were invisible. Women have been ready to hear unjust criticism where none exists, especially Black women, like the unjust criticism of hair and makeup. Okay, all women wear weave, all women wear makeup or some variation of it, different strokes for different folks. The criticism is unjust, and really and truly, it should be no criticism there. It really shouldn't. None should exist. But the article goes on to say, therefore, I would like to see women learn how to hear each other gently, respectfully. At the same time, a woman must become strong enough to hear outside diverse and critical voices. Strong enough to hear outside diverse and critical voices. So that means you got to have a tough skin. They've had to develop a tough skin over the last 2 years of dealing with you niggas online. So I had to do a lot of work with myself, especially that fiasco over there at the breakdown with Fantastic. He brought up my deceased husband, called me ugly, and all types of other shit. I really had to develop a thick skin, having to deal with situations like that on here. And see, when that happens once and a person sees that there's a chink in your armor, they try to take the same thing and hammer you over the head with it over and over again, because they want to beat you down with it. They want to see you come unglued. And when that didn't happen, well, they have to move on. Because I refuse to give anybody that type of power over me. That means you have the power to reach inside my soul and my inner being and destroy me as a person. No, I refuse to let anybody have that power. No one should be allowing anybody to have that type of control and power over them. So yeah, you do have to develop a tough skin, because there are going to be critical voices coming from everywhere, and some of them are coming from a loving place, and some of them are coming from a place of hatred. And you have to be able to discard the hateful voices and take none of it in, but consider the ones that are coming from a place of love and trying to make you a better person. You consider those. You have to have the discernment to know the difference. Asking another woman what she really thinks is not the same as asking her to support you, whether you're right or wrong, or falsely flatter you. I hate people who falsely flatter. If someone thinks that Faith looks like a piece of melted ice cream, I know you think this, so don't tell me that old Faith, you look good today, when I know what you really think. I hate when people falsely flatter me. I would rather, if you really don't mean it, don't say it. I would prefer that. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. And if you don't mean it, don't say it. It's not necessary for me. I don't need your flattery to boost my self-esteem. And flattery will get you nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Flattery doesn't work with me. Ladies, learn how to express your anger. A woman may hold a grudge against another woman for a long time. She might turn others against her entirely, unsuspecting victim. This is narcissism, by the way. This is how narcs work. A woman might instead learn how to express her anger verbally directly to the woman who has offended her, and then let go of that anger. I agree with this. Now, if I'm angry with you, I'm not going to do that passive aggressive, nice, nasty stuff that this other YouTuber that I've been talking about this whole time. She does that nice, nasty shit. I don't do that. I'm more direct. If I got an issue with you, I'm not going to make it public. I would prefer to have a conversation behind the scenes. And then after I, unleashed whatever I need to unleash on you, I let it go. You guys saw something similar to that with me and Cluster B. Now, Cluster B lied and said that I never tried to contact her behind the scenes. And then I came up with the email showing that I did try to contact her behind the scenes to handle the situation. But then I ended up having to go live in public, just like she was going live in public, with the back and forth. And eventually I got off what I had to say. I let it go. I let it go. Because, see, I can't live in a constant state of rage, anger, hurt, pain. I can't. It's not healthy. So once I got to say what I had to say, boop, I'm done. Bye-bye. Bye, bitch. I'm out. We ain't got to like each other. We ain't never got to agree again. We ain't got to be friends. But I told you how I felt. And now I'm done. Boo boy. Thank you so much, Robert Benjamin, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Koja Malik says, if you squash something and the person perpetuates the lie afterwards, it is a little different. Yes, it is. But you don't have any control over another person. So that's the reason why once you have directly, dealt with that person, got it off your chest, whatever it is you need to get off your chest, you wipe your hands and you walk away. Sister George and I, we had a difference. I don't know if she minds me bringing it up, but we squashed our difference. We had it out with each other, hashed it out. We washed our hands, and we walked away. And we walked away as friends. We still support each other's channels. I go from time to time to Sister George's channel, and Sister George comes to my channel. That's a healthy way of handling things. But all this passive aggressive, nice, nasty shit that women like to do, it looks sexy. It seems like it's a good idea. But what's the end game? You're not being direct. You're not squashing anything. You haven't settled anything. You're just keeping the shit going with the indirect, what they call it, subvert, passive aggressiveness. You're just keeping the shit going. You're just letting it fester. I much prefer, I don't like you, you don't like me, stay away from me, bitch. And we know from here on out where we stand. I like that much better. I don't know, just call me, that's just how I am. Call me crazy, that's how I am. But let me get back to this article. All right, so express your anger verbally and directly to the woman who has offended you, and then let go of that anger. This is not easy to do. Perhaps here is where women can learn some rules of engagement from men about how to fight fairly, and then, win or lose, move on. Befriend our opponents, or at least quit holding a grudge. I hold no grudge against Cluster. Sister George and I are cool. I've won some, I've lost some. But the most important thing is I've moved on. Ladies, learn to ask for what you want. A woman must be encouraged to put what she wants into words, to ask for it directly. Once again, the word direct keeps coming out in this article. You got to learn to ask for things directly, rather than waiting for someone to guess what you want or read your mind. I'm not a mind reader, sis. Tell me what's bothering you. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need directly. And that's what a lot of our husbands, our boyfriends, guys that we've had in our life, they've told us the same thing. But I will have to agree. We as women, we're not very direct. We are very passive aggressive. We're very passive aggressive as women. We do things indirect like a motherfucker. If a woman cannot get what she wants, She does not have to blame herself, give up, disconnect, or become enraged. She must learn that she can get what she wants another day, at another job, or with another person. Excuse me. Women must be encouraged to move on as well and stay the course. And that's another thing that we have badly. If we can't get what we want, we'll blame ourselves, we give up, we disconnect, we become enraged. We do not communicate directly what we want. And in doing so, what ends up happening is we end up staying in a situation much longer than we should. And what happens is we keep replaying and reliving the same situation over and over again every day with that same person through passive aggressive actions, hoping that that person is going to read our mind and just know what's bothering us. But in reality, if you're more direct, then you'll know that maybe you and this person ain't going to jail. And maybe you can get what you want another day. Maybe, if you tell the person directly what you want and they know now exactly what it is that you want. And maybe that day they didn't hear you or they didn't understand. But maybe after time and them thinking about what you said, a lot of times what happened with me is a person will come back to me and say, you know what? I thought about what you said the other day, Faith. And you know what? You were right. But, with women, we have to get what we want right now, right now, right now. We will keep hammering and hammering and hammering away at the person. And that's when it becomes nagging. You're not going to nag your way. You're not going to shout your way. You're not going to bully your way into getting your way. Sometimes you have to state what you want and step back. And if that person gives it to you, fine. If they don't, oh well. Maybe you might have to get it with at another job or with another person. But either way, you got to move on. Women must be encouraged to move on as well as stay the course. Do not gossip. Oh my God, this needs to be up in neon signs. Do not gossip. We are some gossiping ass, messy ass bitches sometimes. Myself included, like what I did today with the whole describing the other YouTuber, that wasn't nice. I'm going to be honest. I can say I was fucked up. I was wrong about that. So I apologize. But do not gossip. Do not initiate gossip about another woman. If you hear gossip, do not pass it on. Don't let it stop with you. It's perfectly all right to talk about a woman when she is not present, as long as she is someone like you, someone that you like, somebody that you love, and somebody that you care about. And if what you are saying will not damage her reputation or ruin her life. It is not all right to punish and sabotage another woman whom you may envy or fear by slandering her or turning other women against her. Okay, I'm almost at the end of the article. I'm kind of losing my voice here. Coach Release said you are allowed to have petty moments. All right, let me see here. What are you guys saying? I appreciate you too, at Bixby. Thank you so much. Coach Malik say we give men too much credit. They're petty like women. Men fake resolve stuff also and pull that supposedly resolved stuff up later the minute that they're upset with each other. That's true. That's true. Some men act just as bitchy as women. But I'm just talking about the vast whole majority of men. Most men don't. Most men let go of stuff. They don't hold on to stuff like women do. Women, we can hold grudges forever against another woman. Like years ago past, and we'll still remember the one little thing that that woman did and not like her for it. And it could be something completely small and completely petty. We're like that. I am Allison in Wonderland says, I avoid conflict because I have a temper, unfortunately. I'm not passive aggressive. I just ignore folks. Toxic trait, I guess. But I don't know. That might be a good thing, Allison in Wonderland, to have that trait. I have that trait too, because I have a temper. And I find myself having to pull myself back and to just so I can hear other women. Because if I want to reach other women, I can't be listening from a place of, how can I say, judging. And that's the other thing. I judge. And I'm trying my best to pull out of that, from judging other people too much. Because if you want to reach other people, you have to be able to put yourself in their shoes, empathize with them, and listen to them. All right, so I'm going to go back to the article. No woman is perfect. If you behave badly, apologize directly and move on. Cut yourself some slack. Cut myself some slack, Faith. You can have some petty moments sometimes. And cut the next woman some slack too. If she has slandered or sabotaged you, talk to her about it directly. Deal with it quickly. Do not let it fester. Treat women respectfully. Finally, this is the last thing. Even if we disagree with another woman, we must do so respectfully, kindly. We must cultivate the concept of an honorable opponent. We should not automatically demonize our opponents and competitors. Women are not obligated to love or hate each other. We do not even need to like each other. I am suggesting that women treat each other in a civilized manner. These suggestions may not seem radical, but trust me, they are. If every reader begins by acknowledging each point is true, and if she vows to bring this newfound consciousness into her daily interactions with other women, she will be part of a profound psychological evolution. It takes many individual ripples to form a wave. So that was Dr. Phyllis Chesler, and she's the author of 18 books, including the landmark feminist classics, Women and Madness. So I thought that was an interesting read. Thought I'd share it with you guys. Hope I didn't put anybody to sleep. But like I said, I'll carry on. I got a couple of things left that we're accused of. And I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. But Black women, we are accused of not being pretty enough. For some reason or another, people think we owe them beauty. You do not owe anybody beauty. Okay? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and it's something that a few people are rarely born with. Okay? It's okay to be average. I'm average. I'm okay with that. We are accused of being overweight, which, a great majority of us are, but America is overweight. Okay, the numbers are inflating in every category of woman now. So it's not just Black women by ourselves. However, Black women, we carry our weight much, much different than the vast majority of other women. So that's something else to keep in mind. Like myself, you see me when I stand up, I'm 190 pounds, but I have more of an athletic build, and that is from genetics. Okay, it's genetics. So I don't carry a lot of fat, if that makes any sense. I used to play volleyball. I used to be on track when I was in high school. I used to be very, very athletic. And so there's a lot of muscle memory there. My body does not hold a lot of fat like most people do. even though I'm getting older, so the fat is coming. The fat is coming. But yeah, so being overweight is one of the things that Black women are always being accused of. Like we done something so horrible to the Black community because we're overweight. So that's another one that we're always being blamed for. We're blamed for being overweight and not being pretty enough. We're blamed for being loud. They say we're loud. We're combative. We don't allow men to lead. We're not allowing men to lead. That's another thing that we're being accused of. We won't let them lead. I don't know any other group of men that has to have permission to lead. Didn't know I had to give permission. One of these days, we should have like a whole I give permission campaign, and just every Black woman get on your social media and say, hey, Black man, be my guest, lead. Hey, if you build it, we will come. Do it. You want to lead? Do it. I'm not stopping you. Get off my couch. Stop asking me for money till next week. Yeah, you can do it. Rah, rah, rah. We Black women, we need to all collectively buy pom-poms and be like, yay, go team, go leaders. Lead. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe we should do that. Maybe then they'll get that we're not holding them back. I don't know. I don't know. I am Allison says, not letting the leader lead is a hilarious argument. It is. It is. Stoic, he says, Black women behavior has really just started being criticized. No, it hasn't. You must not have been around during the Tommy Sotomayor, Angry Man, and all these other guys that has been out here pushing rhetoric against Black women. Oh yeah, they've been doing that. Let's see here. Where are we at now? Oh, and my favorite one, choosing welfare over the Black man. You all pushed us out of the house. You chose to get the check and abandon the community and left the men out to dry. You took the check and you kicked us out. That is the narrative. Black women chose welfare over Black men. This is what we have been accused of all over these internet streets. And it has been debunked over and over again. Because welfare was not created for Black women. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. No, welfare was not created for Black women. And by the time we finally did start getting it, our families and our households was able to survive just a little bit because of it. So it was something that was necessary, and there were a lot of Black men in these households with the women who were receiving the welfare. There were many during the short era where they had the no man in the house law, and that only lasted for about maybe a year or two. The no man in the house law did. And so you had women that were actually hiding their men until they found out that it was just much better to have the men in the household. And so they abolished that law. But yeah. Black women, we got our welfare. If you look at a lot of the history, even in the movies that we do, you see the black mother on welfare with her grown butt ass son in the house, eating off the food stamps, laying on the couch, just basically living off mama. So we weren't pushing you Negroes out of the household. A lot of you all were running. And that's the story where Fantasia was saying that, when she was poor and living on welfare, her guy was around the house, wanting the welfare check. And she was telling him that they needed that welfare check for the food. But because he felt that he was also entitled to the check, he wanted to take the check and go blow it off on something else. And she got into a domestic violence situation with this dude, trying to keep him from taking the money out of the household that they needed to survive. And I remember that scene where the lights got cut off because he knocked her out, took the money, and she wasn't able to pay the electric bill. So we weren't, throwing you niggas out the household. You niggas was knocking us over the head, being abusive, and then running out the household. Can we just finally, for once, tell the truth about that? Can we finally be honest about what really, really, really happened? So no, we did not choose welfare over black men. Black men chose their freedom over their family. Let's be honest about that. Black men accuse black women of putting them on child support. Once again, this is another system that was not created for us. Actually, the child support system was created for deadbeat white fathers. And then the government and the laws, trickled that over to all deadbeat fathers, so that all children can be protected and taken care of, so that no man could just pump and dump. Child support is the answer for pump and dump. Can we just be honest about that? White men were the first to pump and dump, and there were so many of them pumping and dumping that they had to make up a law to make them responsible for these children they were out here making, pumping and dumping. And they just, along with, like they did with the welfare, they expanded it to everybody. So now black men can't pump and dump either. The white man was like, hey, if we can't pump and dump, you niggas can't pump and dump either. So it just expanded to everybody. And so if you thought you were going to pump and dump, and then the woman went and put you on child support, oh well. Now, I will say this. I do believe that the child support laws need to be revamped. I do believe that there's a lot of improvement that needs to be done with these laws, but it is a necessary evil, because niggas and Caucasians, Caucasoids, especially the Caucasoids, they were the first pumpers and dumpers. Y'all was pumping and dumping. Willy-nilly, just making kids and just taking off. But nobody kicking you out the house. But nobody choosing welfare over you. They basically had to put you on child support, because if they didn't, you wouldn't give them nothing. If they didn't make you pay, you wouldn't do shit. Can we be honest about that? There are some of you that if they didn't make you pay, you wouldn't pay shit. Why can't we just all tell the truth and get that off our chest? Just have that coming to Jesus moment right there. Yes, and yes, Lord, yes. If he was not made to pay, he would not pay. Why can't we just be honest? The truth shall set you free. The truth shall set you free. Yes, embrace it. Embrace that truth, all of it. What's What's up, China, China? That's my boo right there. I love me some China, China. China be having some pretty girl problems too. Y'all better leave my friend alone. You know, she can't help because she pretty and sexy. All right, shout out to China White though in the house. I am Allison says welfare isn't stopping them from networking with each other, building up their community, and prioritizing their families. And with integrity, like with so many other groups do with while receiving government assistance. Exactly. Exactly. Collins Crypto says, I paid $250,000 child support. I still bought a house and paid it off. My baby mama is still broke and I have 10 months of child support left. Well, hey, I mean, as long as you paying and doing what you're supposed to do, who cares? Okay, if she want to be broke, that's on her. But them kids, that's your responsibility. You may not pump and dump. You may not pump and dump. So, hey, if she broke, oh well, you still got to pay. All righty. So where was I? I got a few more to get through. And then I think this is the last one. Black men are always accusing black women of calling the police on them. And thus we alone are the reason that these Negroes are always going to jail. Because black women are always calling the police on them. We always involving the white man in our business. Why can't y'all let us beat you in peace? What is wrong with you black women? Let us beat you in peace. What goes on in the house stays in the house. Let us beat you. Let us molest the children. Let us do all this here degenerate ass shit that we doing in the hood. Let us sell drugs in your house. Let us steal from you. Let us do all of this shit in peace. What is wrong with y'all calling the police? What you mean you calling the police? Let us do our dirt in peace. You know, most crimes against black women go unreported, right? Most crimes against black women go grossly unreported. And so black women are not the ones that's really calling the police on you. If black men are in jail, it's usually because y'all out somewhere standing on the corner and you being stopped and frisked. Stop and frisk is the reason why a lot of y'all went to jail. You had a lot of black women bailing you out of jail. I don't hear y'all complaining about that. I don't hear y'all complaining about the vast majority of black women that go broke, bailing your behind out of jail. The vast majority of black women that will sit up here and hold things down while you in jail. We don't hear a peep from y'all about that. And I forget who it was. It was one of those love and hip hop stars where she waited on this guy in jail for about 5 years or so. And she bailed him out and went on this campaign to get him free and everything like that. And when that nigga got out, he turned to her and said he wouldn't have did it for her. Y'all quick to complain about black women calling the police. Quick to complain. Yandy, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All things not a gene says Yandy. That's who it was. Yandy went all out for that man. And he said he wouldn't even have done the same for her. He said, I'm just be honest, I wouldn't have did it for you. But you don't hear black men big up in black women that do this, that stand by you, that hold it down. All we hear about is y'all call the police on us. You black bitches, the reason why we going to jail because y'all always involving the white man in our business. You black bitches this, you black bitches that. You want to know who called the police on you? Karen. You know Karen with the 50 cameras around her house? Karen that's at the park calling the police on you because you barbecuing and is in the wrong zone of the park? A Karen that's calling the police on you because you out bird watching? Or Karen that walked her drunk ass into your apartment and shot you because she's a ditz. She's a ditz. Karen the one involving the man on you most of the time. Black women, we don't trust the police. I damn self. The police beating our ass too. But you all don't never, ever, ever look at black women out here marching for you. Black women out here holding shit down. You know, we need to really stop that shit too. And you know, and there's more and more black women that are talking about leaving you all in the lurch. We really should. As a matter of fact, I would definitely leave your ass in the lurch. Don't wait for me to bail your ass out, because I'm not finna do it. Hit me, and I am gonna call law. Black women, you know, that right there is a tactic to keep you silenced. This is yet another shaming and silencing tactic. What goes on in the house stays in the house. Don't call the police on me when I do wrong. Let me rape your daughter. And shout out to Brother Polite's ex-girlfriend for doing exactly what the fuck she should have did. Her little baby said that man touched on her, and she believed her baby, and she went to the police. As she should have. As she should have. This is just another silencing, shaming tactic to get you to not do the right thing as women. Exactly. Allison in Wonderland says, I don't live by the code of the streets. I'll call the cops. All things Nada Jean says, I am sorry, but if I was ever abused, I will be calling the white man, aka 911. Thank you. China White says, and I will pull my gun, sister after my own heart. Yes. That's the other thing. Ladies, get strapped up. Get them guns. You don't have to have a license right away to purchase a gun. You can purchase a gun without a license, but you will eventually have to be licensed to open carry. But you can purchase a gun without a license. Have that gun. Get your gun, girl. $9mm. Uh-oh. We got that smoke. We got that heat. Revolvers are really easy guns to handle too. They don't jam up. I had a military guy, give me information about revolvers. So if you're like a newbie to guns, even though it's not, as fast as an automatic, but they don't jam. Keep that in mind. And revolvers are really good when you're dealing with a target that's close to you. Keep that in mind. The fact that Polite's victim told her mother shows that they have a good relationship and she's a good mother. Exactly. She's not a mammy. Oh, shit. Hold on. How did I miss this? Thank you, Miss China White. I must have missed that way up here. $19 super chat from Miss China White. I appreciate you. Miss Love. But I think that is it. Let me see if I got any more on my list. Yeah, that was it. Calling the police on black men, the last thing that black women are accused of. And all these things that I ran down on this list, I hope that all the things that I talked about today helped both sides. But especially, if even if it doesn't help the abusive side, because the abusers are probably never going to get it. But we as black women, we as women, we have got to start healing ourselves. And we got to stop listening to the abusers. Because that abusive language, that shaming language, they tell us that we use shaming language. But nobody has been more abusive and manipulative as they have. They have been extremely manipulative. There go Commendable K. He says, right, about revolvers. I remember when we talked about that. Exactly. And Commendable K was a commander in the military, by the way. So he was over, I would say, at least several hundred individuals. He had to train different people. So he has extensive knowledge about tactics, war tactics, self-defense tactics. So I listen to him extensively when it comes to what type of guns to own and buy. But that's it, guys. That's my show. I appreciate each and every single one of you for coming in. I don't think I'm going to open up the panel today. I think I'm going to leave the discussion as is. And on top of that, I've got to get out here and hustle and bustle, y'all. So I appreciate hanging out with you guys. I'm going to try to hang out with you each morning. Don't hold me to that. You guys know I hate schedules. I abhor schedules. That's why I love being my own boss, because I don't like schedules. But until next time, peace. I'm out.